All right, so we're back for another deep dive, and today we've got something really, really special lined up.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a big one. Buckle up.
So, our listeners have really outdone themselves this time. They've sent in excerpts from Dante's Divina Commedia, and not just like a snippet or two. We're talking select cantos from the Inferno, a
I,
whole bunch from the Purgatorio, and even a taste of Paradiso.
wow, that's quite the journey they've mapped out for us.
It is, and I have to say, I'm so here for it. Dante's vision of the afterlife, it's just so incredibly vivid and complex and thought-provoking.
Absolutely, and it's not just like a theological treatise either, right? I mean, there's history, mythology, politics, all woven into this incredible tapestry.
Totally. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to basically trace Dante's steps through these realms.
Hmm.
We're going to be looking at the key figures he encounters, unpacking the symbolism of these incredible landscapes, and really getting into the big ideas that Dante's wrestling with.
Sounds like a plan, and I know we've got some serious Dante fans listening, so we're going to try to do this deep dive justice.
Right, so no pressure.
None at all. But really, I think for anyone who's ever wondered about the afterlife, about good and evil, about sin and redemption, Dante's Commedia is like this incredible guidebook.
Totally agree. Okay, so let's jump into the Inferno.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, Cantos Nat X and XX. As Dante and Virgil approach the city of Dis, there's this almost palpable sense of dread.
Oh, yeah. This is where things start to get really, really heavy. Like even Virgil, Dante's guide, the voice of reason, he seems to falter a bit here.
Right, like he's reaching his limits. And it's no wonder. I mean, you've got the fallen angels guarding the city walls, the Furies, Megara, Electo, Tisiphone, and even the threat of Medusa. It's intense.
Definitely. And it's really interesting how Dante uses these figures from classical mythology to kind of amplify the sense of like primordial evil, like these are forces that have been around forever.
Exactly. And then you have this stark contrast with the arrival of the heavenly messenger who just effortlessly opens the gates. It's like a reminder that even in the deepest depths of hell, divine power still prevails.
Such a powerful moment. And then once they're inside the city, the landscape itself is just incredibly oppressive. Dante describes it as this vast field of burning tombs filled with the cries of the damned. He even compares it to cemeteries he'd seen near Arles and Pola.
It's like he's trying to give his readers, his medieval audience, something that they can actually picture, something that would have been familiar and terrifying to them.
For sure. And then in Canto XX, we meet the soothsayers and diviners, and their punishment is particularly striking, right? They're forced to walk backward for eternity, their heads twisted around so they can't see where they're going.
It's brutal, and it's so
Mhm.
symbolic, too, right? Like, these people who tried to see into the future, to usurp divine knowledge, are now condemned to this eternal backward gaze. They can only see the past.
I love that. And Dante even points out figures like Tiresias from Greek mythology to show that this punishment applies across different traditions. It's like a universal law.
Right. And what's interesting, too, is Dante's own reaction to this. He's initially moved to pity for these figures, but Virgil rebukes him pretty harshly. It's like, dude, this is divine justice. No room for pity here.
It's a big lesson for Dante and for us as readers, too. We're not here to judge. We're here to understand the workings of divine justice.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's move deeper into the Inferno now, to the Bolgia of the Thieves in Canto XE4. And things get really strange here. Like, we've got these bizarre punishments involving serpents, transformations. It's all very surreal and unsettling.
Yeah, it's like their very identities are being constantly stolen and reformed, reflecting their earthly crimes.
Totally. And then there's Vanifucci, who just lets loose with this incredibly defiant act of blasphemy against God. It's shocking.
Oh, yeah. It's like even in hell, he's still rebelling.
Right. Then, in Canto 26, we encounter the fraudulent counselors. And the imagery here is so striking. They're encased in these individual flames, forever burning in isolation. And among them, we see figures like Ulysses and Diomedes, punished for their cunning and deceit during the Trojan War.
It's really interesting to see these classical heroes, these figures who are often celebrated, being condemned here. It shows just how seriously Dante takes the sin of deception.
It's like, even if your intentions are good, if you use deceit to achieve your goals, you're going to pay the price.
For sure. And then Canto Ex Nines brings us to the schismatics, those who sowed division. And the punishments here are just brutal, like incredibly graphic mutilations. Dante really doesn't hold back.
It's like he wants to show us the true horror of what it means to tear apart what should be united, whether it's in the church or in society.
Mhm.
And it's interesting, Dante even admits to wanting to weep at the sight of this suffering.
Which is really humanizing, right? But again, Virgil urges him onward, like, we're not here to wallow in pity, we have a mission.
Exactly. And finally, we reach the absolute depths of the Inferno in
Mm.
Canto 54, the frozen lake of Cocytus where the traitors are punished. And this is where we encounter the most terrifying figure of all, Lucifer himself.
Oh man, this description of Lucifer, it's just iconic. The three faces, the giant bat wings, the constant chewing on the three arch traitors, Judas, Brutus, and Cassius, it's just so chilling.
And it's such a powerful image, right? Like here at the bottom of hell, it's not fire and brimstone. It's this intense, soul-crushing cold. And Lucifer himself, this once radiant angel, is now this grotesque, monstrous figure, a complete perversion of the divine.
It's like the ultimate inversion of everything that's good and holy.
Absolutely. Okay, so thankfully that's not where the journey ends. We move on to the Purgatorio, and right away in Canto Way, there's this huge shift in tone. We're greeted with light, with hope, with the possibility of redemption.
It's such a relief, right? After all that darkness and torment, it's like a breath of fresh air. And it's interesting, the guardian of purgatory is Cato, a pagan figure known for his virtue. It's like a signal that even those outside the Christian faith can still find a path towards purification.
Totally. And the cleansing rituals that Dante describes, like the gathering of reeds as a symbol of humility, it really emphasizes this idea of spiritual transformation.
It's like they're shedding their earthly burdens, preparing themselves for the ascent.
Exactly. And as we move through Cantos the Third and V, we meet souls in anti-purgatory, those who are in a state of waiting. Canto 3 has those who died excommunicate or were late in repenting, like Manfred, and Dante emphasizes the importance of prayers from the living in helping these souls move on.
It's really beautiful, right? Like it shows the interconnectedness between the earthly and the spiritual realms.
Mhm.
Our actions here can actually have an impact on the fate of those in purgatory.
And Manfred's story in particular shows that even at the last minute, repentance is possible. There's always hope.
Always hope. Then, in Canto V, we meet those who died violently but repented at their final hour. Figures like Jacopo del Casero, Bonconte de Montefeltro, and Pia de Tolomei. They're also desperate for remembrance, for prayers from the living. It's really moving.
And their stories, they really highlight the fragility of life and the importance of seeking forgiveness and making amends while we still can. Like, you never know when your time is up.
That's so true. And then, as we ascend further, in Canto 7 to 12th and XEV, we see different groups undergoing specific forms of purification. Canto Sefeth introduces us to the Valley of the Negligent Rulers, those who failed in their duties. They're stuck in this beautiful valley, but they can't ascend at night. It's like a symbol of their earthly negligence holding them back.
And it's in this canto that we have that incredible encounter with Sordello and his passionate lament for the disunity of Italy. It really speaks to Dante's own political concerns.
Definitely. And then in Canto 11, we meet the proud, burdened with heavy weights, forced to look down. It's like a physical manifestation of their humbling process. And there's this great reflection from Oderisi de Gubbio, who talks about the fleeting nature of earthly fame, how even the greatest artists are eventually forgotten.
It's a reminder that, in the grand scheme of things, our earthly achievements are pretty insignificant.
So true. And then in Canto XE, we have the envious, their eyes sewn shut, unable to bear the sight of others' happiness. But this canto also introduces this beautiful concept of shared spiritual wealth, how love in heaven actually increases with the number of those who share in it.
It's such a powerful idea, right? Like, it totally contradicts our earthful understanding of scarcity and competition.
Absolutely. And then we move on to the wrathful and the slothful in Canto 7th, Natives in the Exteel. And Canto 7 has the wrathful enveloped in the stinging smoke, reciting the Agnus Dei, a prayer for peace. It's like they're trying to cleanse themselves of their anger and resentment.
And Dante even has these vivid visions of wrathful scenes, reminding us just how destructive this emotion can be.
And then Canto 9X brings us to the avaricious and the prodigal, those who were too attached to earthly goods, in opposite ways. They're lying face down, bound, their earthly possessions weighing them down. And we hear Pope Adrian V confessing his sins, realizing the emptiness of earthly power.
It's like a reminder that no matter how high you rise in this world, ultimately it's your spiritual state that matters.
Totally. And then we have this amazing moment in Canto X1 with the arrival of Statius, the Roman poet, who was inspired by Virgil and converted to Christianity. His purification is complete, and the whole mountain rejoices.
It's such a powerful symbol of spiritual progress, and it also provides an explanation for why the mountain shakes in purgatory. It's because a soul is ready to ascend to heaven.
Amazing. And then as we continue our climb in Cantos Texi 3, Kexi 3, and Eki 6, we learn more about Statius's conversion, and we meet the gluttonous and the lustful. In Canto Assistis, Statius actually says that it was Virgil's poetry that helped lead him to Christianity. It's like this amazing testament to the power of art and literature to inspire faith.
It really is. And then Canto XC3 has the gluttonous, all gaunt and emaciated, reciting prayers, trying to cleanse themselves of their overindulgence.
Yeah.
We have this poignant encounter with Forza Donati, a friend of Dante's, who talks about the vanity of earthly life and the importance of prayer.
And then in Canto XC6, we meet the lustful, purifying themselves by walking through flames. And it's interesting, they're divided into groups based on the nature of their desires, highlighting the complexity of this sin. And we also see some famous poets here, like Guido Gnizelli and Arnaud Daniel, which reminds us of the connection between earthly love, spiritual love, and artistic expression.
So much to unpack there. And finally, we reach the terrestrial paradise. In Cantos 28, 51, 82, and 33, it's this incredibly beautiful Eden-like place. And in Canto 8, we meet Matilda, who is gathering flowers by the river Luthi.
It's like this vision of pure innocence and harmony, a taste of what awaits in paradise.
Absolutely. And then in Canto XD1, we have the dramatic arrival of Beatrice, who really lays into Dante for his past sins. It's a powerful moment of confrontation and repentance.
She doesn't hold back. And then Dante crosses the river Lethe, forgetting his sins, and drinks from the river, remembering his good deeds. It's like this complete spiritual cleansing.
So powerful. And in Canto X2, we have this incredible allegorical procession with the griffin representing Christ and the chariot representing the church. There's a lot of symbolism here about the challenges and corruptions the church has faced. And finally, in Canto X3, Beatrice explains some prophecies and emphasizes the need for divine intervention in human affairs.
She's really preparing Dante for his final ascent to paradise.
Right. And that brings us to our brief but illuminating glimpse into Paradiso with Canto 1. The ascent to the sphere of the moon, the first heaven, is described as this incredibly beautiful and ineffable experience, and Dante asks Beatrice about the spots on the moon.
And she gives him this really fascinating explanation, both scientific and theological, about the varying degrees of glory among the souls in paradise. It's like even in heaven, there's this hierarchy, this order to things.
So amazing. Wow. Okay, so that was quite a journey, wasn't it? I mean, we've covered so much ground here, and we've only scratched the surface of Dante's Commedia. But I hope this deep dive has given you a taste of the incredible depth and complexity of this work. It's really a masterpiece of Western literature.
It truly is, and it's a work that continues to resonate with readers centuries later because it speaks to these fundamental human questions about life, death, good, evil, and the search for meaning.
Absolutely. And so as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question. What aspect of Dante's vision, whether it's the terrifying punishments of hell, the hopeful climb of purgatory, or the radiant beauty of paradise, what resonated with you the most? And how do you think Dante's journey reflects our own? Our own struggles and aspirations, our own search for meaning in a complex and often confusing world. I think that's something worth pondering, and I hope this deep dive has inspired you to maybe pick up the Divina Commedia yourself and explore its riches further. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
It was.